absolutely doesn't get it, and it's why, in his time as Treasurer, we have seen an 8% reduction in the standard of living of hard-working Australians. Now, the truth is, for many Australians, it's far worse than that. If you're running a small business, it's been 18%, Deputy Speaker, and you're working overtime at weekends because you can't afford to pay for your workers, Mr Speaker, 18% collapse. If you are an Australian,
the Treasurer will cease interjecting.
You are an Australian in Western Sydney. If you live in Western Sydney and you've got a mortgage, you're paying, Mr Speaker, you've paid $50,000 more since this government came to power than you expected to pay just 2.5 years ago, Mr Speaker. Just 2.5. $50,000. That's in after-tax income, Mr Speaker. That's what you have seen under this government. Now, Mr Speaker, their answer to all of that, is 70 cents a day in over a year from now. That's their answer. That is the best this hopeless Treasurer, who simply doesn't understand economics, he's a PhD in spin. He's a PhD in excuse making, Mr Speaker. That's the one thing that he focuses all of his time on, Mr Speaker. The best he has is 70 cents a day in over a year's time. Now, Mr Speaker, the Australian people are smarter than that. They know they have been let down by this Treasurer who is only focused on one job. Actually, no, I tell a lie, Mr Speaker. I tell a lie. He's interested in 2 jobs. The one he's got and the Prime Minister's job, Mr Speaker. They're the only jobs he's interested in. They're the only jobs he's in. Now, Mr Speaker, I thought it was worthwhile having a look. I thought, yeah, he does have a housing plan, the Lodge. I agree with that. Well said. Well said. Look, Mr Speaker, I thought it was worthwhile having a look and seeing what you can buy for 70 cents. What is it you can buy with the 70 cents that the Treasurer thinks is the answer to the economic collapse that he's been behind over the last 2.5 years? Well, it turns out a single lolly at some old-school corner stores or service station, a single lolly, a bread roll from a major supermarket, if they're on sale, Mr Speaker, if they're on sale, a small coin donation to a charity box. It'd be a pretty small coin donation. A single photocopy at libraries or office supplies. A single photocopy, Mr Speaker. A discounted soft drink can at a clearance sale. It's probably past the use-by date. It's probably past the use-by date, Mr Speaker. An entry into a guessing competition like how many jelly beans in a jar. Mr Speaker, that is this Treasurer's solution to the biggest collapse in our standard of living in the history of this country. This Treasurer has no idea when it comes to what it takes to have a strong economy. Now, Mr Speaker, I said before the budget, we'd had 3 budget flops under this Treasurer, 3 flop budgets. I said before this one, there's 3 tests. There's 3 very simple tests. The first is this budget needs to restore Australians' standard of living. Now, we've seen in 2.5 years, on average, an 8% reduction in Australia's standard of living. And we know what is behind that, Mr Speaker, the homegrown inflation that this Treasurer has driven. Homegrown, the Reserve Bank Governor called it homegrown, and we see grocery prices, for instance, up 30%, Deputy Speaker, energy prices, gas prices, electricity prices up over 30%, insurance bills, you name it, Mr Speaker, mortgage costs, of course. This Speaker has overseen a catastrophe on cost of living that Australians have had to bear. And the truth is, throughout that, our core inflation has been higher than most of our peer countries most of the time because this Treasurer never understood what he needed to do about it. We saw interest rates that have been higher for longer in this country. And I talked about the average Australian family with a mortgage, $50,000 they had to find that they weren't expecting to find. $50,000, Mr Speaker. His answer is 70 cents. You've got to be joking. You absolutely have. He has no concept for the pain that they are experiencing. I go to food banks. You should listen to this. I go to food banks right across this country.
Order.
And I see people going into those food banks who simply who have a mortgage, Working
Order.
people who simply can't feed their families, Deputy Speaker. And this Treasurer stands up here and says, it's all okay. It's all okay. You're all okay. I'm okay, so aren't you okay? I mean, this bloke has never got it. Now, the second thing I will say about the cause of this collapse of standard of living is increase in personal income taxes being paid, Mr Speaker, because the average Australian is paying $3,500 more in personal income taxes when those opposite came to power. When those opposite came to power. And they're on their way to 10,000, Deputy Speaker, and nothing you are talking about is going to change that one little bit, Deputy Speaker. You have been responsible for higher taxes in this country because you have absolutely...
Look, the member for Hume, to resume your seat for a moment, there is far too much people are interjecting outside.